Okay, I've been holding off on this for a little bit. Wanted to get a few episodes in first, because basically, in the end, as usual, spoilers galore. So if you haven't seen it, turn away now, because we're just going to dive right into it here. WandaVision. Here's like they're doing sitcom versions of Wanda and Vision. Well, sort of. Basically, as this thing rolls on, the jokes are not necessarily landing. There's a few little moments here and there. Kind of like, okay, something's intriguing. Like, if you paid real close attention, the commercial for the Stark Industries toaster in a black and white show, the light on the thing was red. You know, and you start seeing in the next episode, things start coming in that are in color. Like she pulls this little drone helicopter. And yeah, we're still black and white, but it's nice and red and yellow with a little sword logo in there. And of course, by the end, they have the little kiss, and everything turns to a living color. Yeah. And of course, also suddenly one is pregnant. How did that happen? And of course, the third episode is full on 1970s Brady Bunch type thing, and they have twins. Yeah. And really, something's up with what was the name? Monica's got Gwendolyn or something, or Geraldine. That's it.
Yeah, something like that.
I remember Geraldine Jones. Damn, what made me do it? Okay. And if you get that reference, you're old. Okay.
And so are you.
Shut up.
Yeah. Kiss my butt.
And then finally, episode 4, and we finally get a little explanation of what the hell's been going on here. And if you put it all together, and also a lot of this is relying on really the comic book canon to make any kind of sense, because like I think in the Midnight Judge videos point, in the movies, nothing's really been established here. We really shouldn't give a rip what's going on with Vision and Wanda because they've only been in a couple movies. So it's kind of filling in gaps here using the comics, where Wanda is one of the most powerful characters in the entire Marvel Universe. Because she can manipulate reality. She has occasionally flipped the Marvel Universe on its head on a sort of a whim or a bit of peak, It just wiped out all mutants, type of thing, or that sort of thing. So the becoming pretty clear that we're in a little pocket universe that Wanda has made, where everything is kind of nice and idyllic and safe and comfy, like an old TV sitcom. Unfortunately, Wanda is not a TV writer and has not really done a lot of background stories. Where are you from? Where am I from? You got, like nothing's been filled in. What is your backstory? What is our backstory? We also expecting to break into Conet's thing. We're from France. Yeah. And of course, the fact that poor Monica, after being sucked into this thing and then being rather rudely ejected, she still got her 70s togs on when she lands outside back to the waiting arms of the sword. So that does kind of think, okay, does everything inside, can that be brought out? As in, can Vision still be alive? Because again, there's a bit of a flash there of what happened when Thanos kind of popped that gem out of his forehead and he sort of turned zombie. He's perfectly alive there, so it's like, okay. And this could be a way of bringing back certain characters that kind of upon further review probably should have been killed off in the first place. Like this could be how they bring back, probably how they're going to bring back Captain, Chris Evans as Captain America, and Scarlett Johansson will come back as Black Widow, thus making her movie coming up less pointless. So, she died, and she really died apparently in the Endgame. I haven't seen Endgame, but I've heard nothing about it. She didn't die inside a gem. She died in the outside world, and dead is dead. So who knows? There's one thing you also need to remember about comic book science, and therefore by derivation, science in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is it's pretty flexible. So Iron Man can fly by little boots in his feet, shoes and hands. Whereas realistically, you need something like the size of the Hulkbuster armor to that kind of thrust for a human body. But anyway, and this is not unusual. What's happened in Marvel comics themselves over the years, where they've had the big colossal storyline, and then they see the collateral damage, and ooh dear, we need to undo some of this. Like when they killed off Captain America at the end of Civil War, and the idea was that was going to be Bucky going on. Well, they didn't go over well with the fans. It wasn't, and then the whole thing of bringing Cap back, that was where the desperation plays. Oh crap, we got to undo this. We got to figure out some way to bring back Steve. Okay, and it brings to mind a scene in the movie Soap Dish. Ironically, it also did with Robert Downey Jr., where he was the head of a network and telling the head writer, Whoopi Goldberg, of a soap opera, of the plans to bring back a certain character who had his head chopped off. There's the whole thing of, I'm going to bring this guy back. He's dead. No. Well, before he brought back, he had his head cut off. He has no head. so, and believe it or not, certain things like this have happened in actual soap operas. Not necessarily decapitations. That's kind of final and hard to explain away. But there was in Young and the Restless, character of Philip Chancellor, uh, Catherine's son. I think it was Catherine. No, it was Catherine's son,
Uh,
or was it? No, it wasn't Catherine's. It was what's her face?
not Jill's.
I think it was Jill's. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, he died right there on camera, flatlined. People around him, supposedly a couple doctors too, and he was dead, 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 dead. When it happens on camera, you got where the brain. It's something they go off and you never see him again. There's no body. There's always plausible deniability. This one, you had a body right there in a hospital bed, Genoa City Hospital. You know, they brought him back. Turns out some of the doctors were on the employee home. They faked the whole thing so he could sneak off to Australia.
Hmm. And then Malcolm Winter supposedly died.
Yeah,
How
they,
many
you know,
times
again,
did they find him back?
again, it's an all-time thing. So, and of course, any number of these characters have died before, in the comics and been brought back. That's what kind of caught DC off guard when they did the Death of Superman. Everyone reacted like it was real. It's like, this is just we're gonna bring him back. And they'll run a few things here. What would the DC universe be without Superman? It's like it'll be like a few months. When everyone went nuts, like holy crap! And it goes to the whole thing of it's something that Chuck Dixon when they had just killed off Robin, and he was at the Carnegie Deli and getting a sandwich for lunch, and he had a little Batman pin on his lapel. And one of the guys in line, hey, you working? Batman, they're DC Comics. They're working with Batman. Hey, this is the guy that killed Robin. It didn't matter in the details that it wasn't Dick Grayson. It was Tim Drake. No, Tim Drake. No, Tim Drake was the good one. The one in between. Jason Todd, that moron. And it was up to the readers' vote. I remember that very well. I think I even called it a few times myself. Where it's like, call this 800 number and he lives, call this 800 number and he dies. And he died, and he was put because there was a little snot. He became an insufferable little shit, and people just kill him. And yeah, he got beaten to a pulp by the Joker with a crowbar and then blown up. So, of course, the big gag with that was that he's also been appointed ambassador from Iran, so he had diplomatic immunity. So Batman couldn't do shit. But no, they had a panel. And he's alive. No, didn't work. He did. Like, correlate to that, Walter McDaniel was working at Milestone Comics, which is a DC spinoff, but he was working for DC Comics at the time. Him and another guy were sitting outside Jeanette Kahn's office, Now, Jeanette Kahn was the head of DC Comics at the time, and Jeanette was a person you either got straight in or you're waiting outside for about an hour or two. And so they're sitting out there, and they're looking at each other, and there's a phone right there on the table next to the sofa. And this is going on, and they're feeling a little irritated. So, what do you think? Yeah, they between the two of them put in about 2 dozen calls that ain't her number to kill them off. So they figured they had a very big hand in knocking off Robin. But yeah, they realized in that moment though, where everyone's ready to lynch him for killing Robin, it's like he is not just the editor on a comic book; he is a custodian of American mythology and folklore. And that's what these writers need to realize. They're not just writers in comic books. This is American mythology they're playing with here. And by that, I think they need to get out this thing about we can't recast. You always recast. These characters are bigger than the actors who portray them. Okay, it shouldn't be any different than whoever's playing James Bond. So you can't get Robert Downey Jr. for one more Iron Man movie. You recast. Same with Chris Evans. Okay, and sorry to say, same with Black Panther. You don't just retire the or the act. No, the character's been around since the character's older than Chadwick Boseman was, for God's sakes.
Okay? They do that with Terrence Howard's character in Iron Man.
Yeah, they noticed that who was playing Rhodey when the next Iron Man movie came along, or even yeah, I noticed Edward Norton was not playing the Hulk when they came along for the Avengers movie. It's, suddenly it's Mark Ruffalo. So no, recasting has happened. There was already a precedent, and for far flimsier reasons than the actors died. Okay, they just didn't like Edward Norton because he didn't like he felt he didn't have any input on a thing. Well, no, you don't even. But this is the Hulk. Let the writers do what they do. Accept your paycheck and shut up. Well, in a way, that's kind of what you want for a banner. And frankly, Mark Ruffalo makes a better. I'm not sure it makes a better banner, but also when they CGI him into the Hulk, I think his face looks like the Hulk. I think he's for all his other qualities. He's a bit of a fanboy from way back. So when he gets snarly mad. Yeah, that's the face of the Hulk. He's painted green. He's got the Hulk.
Yeah, what's his face in that one movie?
But anyway, we're getting way off track here. So, yeah, it's good. WandaVision is good. It's, there's some concerns that it's going woke or whatever, but for the show itself, it's like don't bother with the shenanigans going on. People are shenanigans. Just got from Mary's shop, and she also got the same thing on the back. So shenanigans coming and going. And Steph got her love thing with them. Yeah. But yeah, it's just I think this is going to be also a one and done. I don't think we're worried about a season 2. This is part of an overall narrative that's going to lead into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I think it's going to be finally everyone, because they've already started identifying people who are in there, about 3,000 people. The population of this Westview, I don't know how real those cops are. They're saying there's no such place. They're standing right in front of a sign. Could be manifestation that it ain't here. Go away. I can see the building. Go away. Anyway, but it's I'm interested in seeing where this leads. I like seeing Kat Denning because I like Kat Denning, and as far as her being obnoxious, well, people are kind of obnoxious to her too. Okay, when she rests on this 40-pound piece of equipment. No, I got it. The guy's just standing there looking at her. And help her, you cad.
Obnoxious is her stock and trade.
Mm-hmm. I said in one of the comments, it's Kat Denning playing Kat Denning. But
exactly.
That's why you hire Kat Denning as for the smart-ass comments. But they're dropping 2 episodes this Friday. They're starting to try and wrap this thing up here. I don't know. Have they even started production on Doctor Strange yet? I don't know. I should look into that. But And may be interesting to see if their two kids are able to come out of this little, sitcom universe that Wanda set up for them. I mean, Vision is probably, easier to explain than these two children she conjured up out of nothing. So, who knows? Well, actually, that might be, now you can play with genealogy and just say she, did a couple of, I don't know, whatever, all the genetic materials from her. So, whatever. We'll figure it out as we go along. So, with that, PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar, etc., down below. I'm also currently running a bit of an experiment. The Spiffing Brit has possibly exposed a major glitch in YouTube, and how the comments section on our community page on our channels are overpowered. Because mainly the first thing they rolled them out, they were kind of clunky, and people just sort of didn't do anything with them, and they kept putting improvements, but nobody go back and exploit them. And think, Spiffing Brit is the he's an exploiter. He likes looking for flaws in games and stuff and exploiting the and so it's right up his alley to figure, okay, let's look at YouTube, and this is a big one. It's basically our channels have been equipped with tactical nuclear weapons. We don't know it apparently, because he just put up nonsense posts with putting in certain keywords in the posting and a poll, and it went everywhere. Suddenly his subscribers have gone nuts. He was around 800,000, went over 1 million easily, within a couple of days. So, and he's encouraged, cut and pasting. So, on my comment on my community page, I got just cut and paste. I even credit him, blatantly stolen from the Spiffing Brit. With the whole post with all the words and everything, and the poll exactly as he did it. And we're gonna see what happens here, because he's talking he's talking about smaller channels like 100,000. Well, let's see how it does with the channel less than 1,300. See if we get some results here. It has been getting some traffic on there. I know I get notifications. Oh, we got plenty of comments on this. But supposedly this thing should be going all over the place. And I'll give it a week or two and see what's going on. It's going to stay up. I'm not going to shut it down every time, so we keep it on going. But we'll see what happens to the channel. Maybe we can finally get enough subscribers on this thing to make it viable. And with that, we will talk at you later.
Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Well, the plan is ignored. Action is reward to him. Life is a great big bang up. Whenever there's a hang up, you'll find